The word Scribblenauts has been on the minds of every die-hard Nintendo DS owner ever since the game made its public debut at E3 earlier this year, and for good reason. It's hard not to get excited over the game's ambitious concept. Players are allowed to summon any object they can think of, well, most any object, and use them to solve puzzles. Scribblenauts lives up to the hype for the most part. The game is incredibly fun and highly creative, and absolutely worth playing. However, it's also not perfect. Scribblenauts is a simple idea. Give the players the ability to conjure up anything they can think of. The designers definitely put a ton of effort into creating a complete library of stuff, from animals to vehicles to items that serve no logical purpose. As long as it's not a trademarked or licensed product, or an alcoholic beverage, or a naughty word, then it's a very good chance that it's represented in Scribblenauts. What's more is that each item has its own behavior. Food can be eaten, animals can fight, stuff can burn and explode, and on and on. It's an ambitious concept, and it really makes Scribblenauts stand out. To get so many items in this DS game, the designers use a simple, cartoony style. Scribblenauts also uses a cool physics engine to give the world a sense of gravity, so that objects can roll, tumble, and fall simply by throwing them or kicking them around. Fifth Cell made it easy to tool around with Scribblenauts. You can get lost in the game for hours simply by coming up with objects and seeing how they affect the world. If you want to glue a microwave to a kangaroo's forehead and ride him after leashing him to a fire hydrant, you can do it in Scribblenauts. But all of this applies to the game's main goal, to solve puzzles. There are a ton of challenges in Scribblenauts with a variety of objectives. You may have to exterminate a room full of rats, or knock down a piñata, or get a cat off of a roof, all by coming up with clever and creative solutions using the Scribblenauts library of objects. There are dozens upon dozens of puzzles in Scribblenauts, and when you've exhausted all the built-in ones, there's a basic but beefy level creator where you can build your own challenges. The concept of Scribblenauts is awesome and it's a lot of fun. The game has one flaw that's impossible to overlook: control. See, your in-game persona is a dude named Maxwell. You control him by tapping on the screen to walk, pick up items, and interact with objects in the game's world. But his behavior is automatic, almost if you're controlling him like a real-time strategy game. You tap the screen and he'll try to go where you want him to go, but his behavior is incredibly erratic. He'll knock over objects or fall through gaps that could have easily been jumped over. It's almost impossible to get him to move a single step or two without him freaking out on you. I can kind of understand why the designers went with a touchscreen control for Maxwell. It could have been awkward to constantly move from D-pad to stylus and back again. But this control problem could have gone away if the designers gave us the ability to move Maxwell with the D-pad and buttons as an option if we wanted to. Scribblenauts is easily one of the most creative games to hit the Nintendo DS. The game is a great time waster as a simple toy, but it's also fun in its puzzle form too. It's just a shame about the controls. Many times it makes the casual experience a frustrating one. Without this issue, this great game could have been an outstanding one. For my full written review of Scribblenauts, head on over to IGN.com.